Love is simple, but we make it hard with our trappings. We make love difficult, painful, hurtful, and regrettable because we keep trying to figure out how to do love right.
Just inviting
in order
here,
to
ready to get started.
And get the right kind of loving, we place demands, restrictions, and conditions on our loving and on those we love. Sometimes it works. Usually, it does not. And when we get hurt, we blame love. Love does not hurt. Falling into the traps that
y'all there with me today? I'm ready.
Make us hurt ourselves.
I'm ready.
Love.
You ready?
Love is the experience of joy we have.
Inviting.
When we have the courage to tell the truth. It is the power we feel when we are willing to be exactly who we are and allow those we love to do the same. Love.
Did you all see my last email with the check? I mean my last
what you've seen in the pictures.
Let me see.
Love is not a tool.
Hey y'all. I'm still inviting.
Love is the key. Love is the key that allows you to see more in yourself and about yourself than you would ever dare show to the rest of the world. Love is simple. You simply give love or you don't. You simply know love or you don't. Traps.
Okay, I'm still inviting.
For
some reason, if you're not holding it, it doesn't work. Hi everybody. Hey loves, how you doing?
That you are.
Whew, I'm just gonna come in on that energy of I surrender. Yes, indeed. Y'all ready? Whew. I just love that song. I surrender. That's on the Young List. In the meantime, I'm just gonna give you a little bit more.
You cannot.
You say yes, lips. Our beloved Veronica Very gave us a whole talk on the lip honey at the brunch that you all saw.
So
I'm coming back to invite a few more people.
Wondering if you are going to get left.
I'm not going to be long today. I got that Cali fire right now.
In your loving. If you are wondering,
I got a Cali kind of fire. So let me turn this down.
And go without hurting.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a Cali fire today. And so I'm looking forward to sharing with you all. I'm just awaiting and allowing a few more people to come into the room. Say the lips are lovely, huh? Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that love. I'm just asking our folks to come on in the room. 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 Okay, I'm going to go on and get started because for real, I really don't want to be in front of you long. So I just want to tell you, just start off with, you know, it's juicy season. We're getting ready for a whole new rites of passage. Thank you, love. We're getting ready for a whole new rites of passage, getting ready in May. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. I don't want to be long today, so I'm going to look at the time. It's 1:05. I'm going to jump right on in here. So today, I'm going to use my life. You know, when I come coming before you, I bring into you what has been revealed through sessions, the work that other women are doing. Sometimes it's you know, I don't put your business out there unless you decide to put your business out there when you're talking to me in here. Or it comes directly from my life or from universal law. I really don't try to just come in just as a commentator with a whole bunch of opinions on how you should live your life or how you should show up. I really hope my intention comes through of providing you with either law, universal law, or principles, business law, or money moves in terms of business, whatever the case may be, I hope that it comes from a place that has been proven and true. So, one of the things that I just posted, hey, Tracy, so good to see you and feel you in the room, love. One of the things, is when you get really focused on manifesting and particularly living as a goddess, particularly operating in your divine feminine, a lot of times we think that that means that we are exempt from something. And we're not exempt from experiencing anything. We just start to experience less of what we don't want and more of what we do want when we are operating from the place of the divine feminine in cooperation with it, right? Y'all with me so far? So this morning I had a little situation where I received some notice from the leasing department and it really pissed me off because they didn't have the incorrect information. Of course, my husband, the masculine, was able to balance me not to get into my emotions, and he supported me with taking me right into law. Because see, if you're not operating on spiritual law, a lot of times we don't know that we have other rights. We have been taught to be so compliant as a people or so emotional. I'm going to backtrack a little bit and I'm going to get back into the scenario just to give you an an illustration, because it is all an illusion of how we get emotional and attached to things that happen in our life. We get attached to when we have debt. There are people who don't get attached to debt. They know how to repurpose it and use it in a way that serves them in business. We get attached to us having student loans or any other type of something that we're paying off because we think that we fail in some way. We see that as a form of debt. Yet when you start to purchase properties, you start to understand that there's something called good debt. You start to know that when you start doing quote unquote debt elimination, that when you actually clean up your credit, there's a whole way to do that so that you don't get it so clean that you don't have any credit. And so in other words, there has to be some type of rotation of energy. That's what currency is. I want to start with money because a lot of times that's exactly where we get stressed out, and quite frankly, that's also where we get bullied. We do get bullied. You hear what I'm saying to you when it comes to these types of situations where you say, oh, I got to pay this person back, or I got to do this. And so, all of my moves into different places, even to Costa Rica, has been spirit led. Rarely have I ever come to a place where it's just been, oh, LaTanya, just make a snap judgment. It might look that way to other people who don't know what my process is or how I got there. I never have done that. And so what happened, I want to talk to you about your magic, multiple streams of magic, because in She Magic this month, we are going to go into what your options are. You built in, and those of you who are in the monthly coaching sessions, we've been following a 1, 2, 3, 4 track. And so the intention is for She Magic Money to end with you to know that you have options. And so I thought that I would prime the pump for those who aren't in She Magic, who ought to be, and those who are, prime the pump before you get in there, because a lot of times we don't think that we have options. We start from the place of where we are convicted there. That's exactly where we have to stay and what we have to tolerate until, we get somewhere. A lot of times we say we're not going to do something until something else is in place. And that's probably some logic that works for most people, but not necessarily for magical people and people who know that they are magical. You with me? So check this out. So I woke up this morning and I'm focused, right? I'm just in this zone. This is the zone right now. We're ending the Juicy You, and we're getting ready to receive the sisters who are getting ready to go for their rites of passage. I start getting ready for that, mind, body, and spirit. My husband and I are working on manifesting some things, and there's so much that has been happening in terms of flow that I just cannot even, I haven't been able to fully disclose yet. Just so when I come to you confidently, when I'm walking in, when I'm telling you what I'm telling you, it's because I have some evidence and I have some things that are happening to show me. The more we surrender, like the opening song, I surrender. But surrender does not always look like doing nothing. Sometimes surrender looks like giving up the worry, the anxiety. It gives up being bullied and terrorized by bills, taxes, IRS, or whatever is causing stress in your body and not allowing you to be in your flow. So I woke up, right, and had this notice. And so when I saw the notice, now the business side of me said, this is some bullshit, okay? So the business side of me knew that the data in here was incorrect. Hi, love. How you doing? And like I said, I got annoyed. I was, it's a hell of a way to wake up to something from the leasing office that is incorrect, that also has a directive, And so I'm going to use this. This is a land, because I was coming to you to talk to you about your options, but I want to talk to you today about your magic and present some options to you in She Magic, the coaching session, coaching clinic. And so I felt this thing rising up in me. So I'm going to stop right there and take a pause. A lot of us who enter into this divine feminine journey or more spiritual path, we sometimes think that we shouldn't be angry. We sometimes think that we should not be frustrated about something or have an emotion unlike light and love. No, your anger, your frustration, it serves a purpose when you know who you are and you know what you're working with. And a lot of times we just don't have the education around a matter, and we react off of old emotions. So my old emotion felt a little fear for a moment. Just for a moment, like, oh my God, so now I got to deal with this or whatever. It's incorrect. My husband took me right where I needed to be in law. I typed up the letter. And honey, the letter, I typed up the letter from one corporation to another, not from my feelings are hurt, not from a victim mind. I spoke to the corporation in corporation language, and I let that corporation understand I know my rights. I know my rights in business, and I know my rights as an individual. And I spoke to them in that language. So that's my second pause right there for you. A lot of times, when even as a goddess, not only are we stuffing our emotions and pushing it off and sweeping things under a rug, we do not walk fully in the truth of what it is that we're frustrated about. And so, therefore, when something comes up, we're not speaking the language. We're not speaking the language that's necessary to the masculine. We're not speaking the language necessary in terms of being a goddess or in terms of business. Many of us only speak the language of an employee or a student, because we've been taught by this country, by this world, that we are to be compliant, and we need license to be great. We need license to be powerful. We need license to know who we are. But you don't need license when you start to understand who you are. And so I came from that place today. You might hear it a little bit in my voice. And so when I was talking after I wrote what I had to write, and I used the law to write it, I did not, they wrote me in incorrect data, so I responded in writing. A lot of times when we get stuff, we don't even know how to do that, even as business people. And the letter had all kind of typos in it, and not just typos of language and sentence structure, but because I can get over that. Hell, I make my own mistakes. But it had typos in terms of contractually. So I was able to speak to that. And so, before I get to the speaking to. So I did my research and formulated my letter, and then I sent off the letter. Within it wasn't even an hour. I got the phone call. And had to tell you the level of surrender is when I knew, and when I looked at the phone and decided whether I was going to answer the phone. Because that's my third premise to you. My third premise is we don't have to respond to everything. And some things that we respond to, we ought to know how to respond to them in the appropriate way. And sometimes that is matching the energy of people. So don't make any mistake about it as being a goddess that you don't have the right to be a fighter, a warrior. There is an energy called Kali. There's an energy called Sekhmet. And sometimes she rises up with your children. And sometimes she rises up with your partners. And sometimes she needs to rise up with other women. Don't get it twisted with sacred sisterhood either. That there are times where if we're going to be relatives, if we're going to be family, there are going to be times when we might have to check one another's bullshit, but not in a way that comes from monitoring. And that's what I said within that hour that I got that phone call. Check this out. The phone call, I did not give more information than what was asked for, because what I said in the letter was the burden of proof is not on me, because you never asked me a question. See, and so this is where it kind of gets humble. A lot of times we make a lot of assumptions and a lot of decisions based off of these emotions with other people, and so you can apply this to your love, you can apply this to your sex, you can apply this to your money. I'm gonna try to get on in this thing and get on out, and I hope you stand with me with the principles. Nina, I hope you got I think I'm on number 4. And so what I'm saying is now when I get on the phone, she says, she starts to talk to me, the leasing agent, and the first thing she says is, I see that you wrote a letter and included their regional manager, the executive, and the executives. And I said, oh yes, I did. I said, that's how you corresponded with me. And I said, and so then she began to ask me a question, which she should have asked me the question from the beginning. And so I let her know that. And so I didn't even provide. And the other thing is, sometimes this is probably 4B, 4C on my notes to you today, is sometimes we start providing more information from our employee slave-based mind that we got to explain ourselves, that they can terrorize us. And I'm going to tell you how I got to this point, because I am one who holds responsibility sometimes a little too tight. I understand that about myself, because those of you who are type A personalities, those of you who are high performance women don't oftentimes need to be micromanaged in anything. We tend to be responsible for what we say we're going to do to the point where it stresses us out. I know you understand what I'm saying. And so then she continues. I said, that's the question that you should have started with before you put something in writing. I said, I hope you understand that when you put something like this in writing, it takes on another meaning. And so and what I let them know at the end of the letter is that I would go to the full extent of the law with them. When you know what you know, what you know. And so so maybe this is my point number 5. So she asked me some more questions, and so I said, I have the information that you desire, but it was not requested. And baby, this blesses me. I don't even think this is about to come from me. But I let them know we could terminate our contract. Because see, sometimes people try to intimidate you based off of contracts, particularly these corporations. And ladies, I want you to understand that a part of being a goddess is getting free enough in yourself, in your body. It starts mind, body, and spirit, so that you can have access to understand commerce and economics, so that you can have access to understand business, because and to understand things that will set up legacies for our families, because oftentimes our mothers and fathers only taught us how to survive, to go to school, get a good education, get a job, and make sure you do good, you pay your taxes. We don't understand thank you, Kathy. We don't understand contract law. And so we will have people terrorizing us behind certain things. Look, let me tell you something. Let me just put a little divot in here. When you get a bill, a bill is not the end of the world. A bill is basically a request for payment. You have a right not to pay. But what they do is make you believe, but oh God, they will make you believe that in some way you are out of order. This was not a bill, by the way. Let me just say this. This is not a bill that I'm trying to get out of paying that I'm talking about. It was an assumption made in business. And it was insulting on one hand, but it was just stupid. It was just stupid. But here's the magic. Here's the magic. Y'all ready for the magic? Just put a little M in there if you're ready for the magic. Oh, I want to tell you this magic, baby. I want to tell you this magic. I want to tell you about the magic, honey. Let me put a little oil on my hand. Let me bring a little Oshun energy in this about the magic. I'm gonna tell you why you can't get carried away and feeling like you don't have options when your back is against the wall. Why sometimes you gotta sometimes know where you are, not just contractually in business, but know where you are contractually in spirit. You know, R. Kelly sings a song. When a woman's fed up, ain't nothing you can do about it. Well, look, when you are done with something, a lot of times with us, when we're finished, when we're complete, we most of the time for us, tell me if I'm wrong, sisters, put a number 1 in if this is your truth as well. A lot of times we have done our due diligence in love, sex, and money, but before we get to the point, a lot of times we have overstayed. We've stayed too long, or we've tolerated too much, and that's how come when it finally comes out, it comes out like a dragon fire. You know what I'm saying? You ever been there? Well, see, I have been tolerating some things with this corporation for a while. I gave them a lot of passes. Now, let me give you a little backstory. Okay, y'all ready for the magic? Okay, I'm getting the notices. Let me give you the backstory. Y'all know that I moved. I relocated, sold everything, and had a whole spiritual pilgrimage to Costa Rica to live abroad. While in Costa Rica, we had a whole lot of magic that happened there. We met people. We ended up being asked to be spiritual advisors for people in the entertainment industry. When the election happened, all hell broke loose in case you all don't know, in international business. There are a lot of people, there's a lot of contract business law even in that. And so our deal to move abroad, to be hired, it was a multiple figure deal. It was beautiful, okay? So when we came here, it threw me a curveball. I know now why I'm here. There was spiritual stuff that I needed to come and do and all of that. And plus probably more than that. Like I ended up exactly where I needed to be. I got that. But I knew what I desired. My husband, we knew what we desired, which was not really ever to be here. And so after I'd had the experience, my rebirth, my resurrection a couple of weeks ago when I told you, we were clear, we were complete. We want to be a place where the sun shines and that type of thing. So I said, when I looked at this little letter that they stuck in the door again, I said, well, look at my magic. Because sometimes, this is my point number 5, because many of us have a hell and damnation, fear-based mentality when it comes to God. We have it when it comes to anything that happens in our life that we did not plan for, that comes as an interruption. And so we will hold it from a place of being punished. So honey, when I shifted and I said, oh, this is the universe saying, I agree. It's time for you to move toward in the direction of your desire. And that you don't have to wait on anything, that you can declare it. And so, mind you, in the ceremony, a shamanic message had come forward that oh no, you don't ever have to wait on this in order to have that. And even if that was an issue, the universe then came behind and provided 2 and 3 supports to correct it. Now let me tell you what's so good, because I wasn't gonna be bullied. I was not going to be bullied, and I wasn't going to be worried. My God, that feels so good to me because it's confirmation of my own rebirth and emerge transform, that I'm not just trying to hold things from this place of responsibility and being responsible as a burden. Honey, when I looked at that and said, because the threat was you know, the threat was we could vacate. Okay, so then I called them on it. Let's vacate. Let's terminate this contract. And here's the bonus. Sometimes there are contracts in our relationships. There are contracts we have with God. There are contracts we have with how we handle money. There are contracts we have with our parents. There are contracts that we have with friends. There are contracts that we have out there from that we forgot about that we need to terminate. And people can try to threaten you with the inheritance. They can threaten you with late fees and charges. They can threaten, but when you understand, when you start to get down in it, this is why I invite you. This is why I do the work in terms of the cryptocurrency, the gold education, and the Bitcoin boot camp and all of that, because not just to sell you, because I hear too many women worried about majoring in minor things. I have done it too, and a lot of times it's money. A lot of times it's fear of loss. Something is going to be taken away. Now, if you know, whatever it is, sometimes it's necessary to go back and terminate those contracts. And that's the kind of work we do in the rites of passage process. But see, if you don't start to do it with your body, in your mind, in your spirit, then you will continue to move through being compliant and being scared at every twist and turn by something. You know, there's always options. We really do have them. And we are magical. We are magical. We have multiple streams of magic. And a lot of times the universe is sending you a signal of yes or no when it's time for you to move forward. There's a song by Carmen Calhoun. If anybody who is in this place in your life, and I'm not talking about from a place of bad, but you feel ready to take a leap towards something, towards a desire. You feel ready to invest in yourself. You feel ready to up-level your game, and it's requiring something of you. There's a song I like to go to, and I heard her sing it live first, and it's by Carmen Calhoun. In fact, BB, if you are on the broadcast, I remember her singing it in that little old church in Bowie for that special meeting. It wasn't a church meeting, but it was a meeting place in Bowie that was magical. And and Carmen Calhoun sang this song, Are You Ready to Move? Are you ready to move when God says move? Are you ready to move? Okay, I know I can't sing, but hey, that ain't my gift. God bless your ears. And so when I'll see if I can find the song, or I'll post it in the comments. But that song says, are you ready to move when God says move? Because there are times when, oh, you were there, Sandra? Yes, indeed. When it's time to make your move, a lot of times you doubting, you worrying, and it's enough evidence. Now check this out. Here's another bonus. This is when you know you're working with something juicy. After I wrote the letter in response, and I think even before I had the actual verbal conversation, I started doing a demonstration in the direction of what I say I desire. I made a phone call towards that desire. The person not only on the other line said to me, she gave me some tips, but she said, oh, you can come right now. You pack your stuff up. Come right now. We got you. and then gave me more solution. It was another signal from the universe of yes, because what happens is we start to say, what if this and what if that? And you know, when you're a strategist, when you are an entrepreneur, you always consider the 4 angles at least of the possibility of what could happen, what could go wrong, what if you don't have enough money, what if you don't get approved, what if you hit a roadblock. A lot of times it's not even about getting their approval to do what you need to do, because I know people who didn't have the credit, who didn't have the money, who did not have sometimes even the faith. Honey, they borrowed somebody else's faith when they needed it. Sometimes that's what's necessary so that you can access multiple streams of magic, but you got to do a demonstration, and the universe will send you the signal of yes and no. And your no does not always mean that you have failed. It may mean that you need to go at it in another direction. I just want to bless somebody with that who stands stagnant in a place of thought. Your mindset that repeats over and over again. The place of adrenaline rush when you feel like you're in trouble and you know that you want to be right, or you don't want to do wrong, or you're trying to avoid, looking at what you have in your bank account versus what it is you say you desire on your vision board or out of your mouth. Whatever it is, we have multiple strings of magic. I want to shout out the sister who I want to shout the sister out who made her deposit on the Juicy Spirit Rites of Passage process, the Juicy Womanhood Rites of Passage process. Y'all be getting the juicies mixed up. And this is the 6-month process where you become the juicy butterfly, the goddess that you hear me talking about, living life on your own terms. I want to shout you out, sister. I'm not going to say who you are, but I know the faith that it took for you to make that deposit, not knowing where whatever was going to come from with your intellectual mind. I want to shout out the sister who made her deposit, because a lot of times we look at what we have and not what it is that we desire. And when we look at what we have as being less than, not enough, not good enough, not worthy, not the right time, not, then we end up being in knots. I'm looking around to demonstrate you a knot. Sometimes we knot on ourselves so much that we cannot move forward in the direction of what it is. And so yes, it is a gift to be able to know how to manage the logistics and manage the details, but sometimes sometimes you can't manage the interruptions that come, and all of those things, ladies. But when you start to understand who you are in the divine feminine, yes, I use words like magic. Yes, I use words like energy, because it is real in my life. And I know it's real in many other people's lives. So that's another reason why being in a sisterhood, surrounding yourself with women who are living in their magic, their feminine magic, because it matters. It matters because it's easy. It's a dime a dozen, baby, to go out there and have a broke conversation. It's a dime a dozen to go out there and have a conversation of what you can't do. I told somebody about our desire. I just spoke it out loud to somebody. The first thing they said to me was, what about the children? How you going to make that move with the children? Do you know how many times I heard that even when it came to moving abroad? And many people who would write us day in and day out. I want to move, but my children are in school. I want to do this, but my children, I don't know how they're going to adjust. I want to do this, but my parents are elderly. I want to do that, but I got 20 years in on this job. I want to make this move, but come on. I met people abroad, and when you meet people who have done it, see, that's why you want to be in the company of people who are living like this, because when you say you're ready to do something that does not make sense to you, when you're ready to do something that does not follow the timeline, then those are the people you want around you to tell you what's possible, what can be done, and not what can't be done. You want those kind of people in your court who are turned on. Too many women are walking around here bitter and backed up, baby. Bitter, backed up, and broken. I said it. I'll say it again. Bitter, backed up, and broken. Some of us need to have a good orgasm. Some of us need to let the bitch out because the bitch is running your life instead of you running the bitch's life. And some of us are broken, and we'd rather be broken than whole and healed and happy and juicy, because you have been taught that God looks like struggle, that being God-like looks like sacrifice, that being God-like looks like No. Sometimes it looks like a fire-breathing, double-fisted goddess who's saying, I'm standing in my power. I'm standing up for myself. I know who I am and I know my rights. And sometimes you might have to use the emotional fire of fear to step in your boldness. You have to determine. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. And I'm telling you, the more I do business from the place of, and I've had to make some mistakes. I have been broken in business. I have been backed up in business, honey. And I have been bitter in business. So don't trust me. This does not just apply. So some of those of you who are coaches, you bitter, you broken, and you backed up, and you coaching, you ministering, you bitter, you backed up, and you broken, and you're a wife. You bitter, you backed up, and you broken, and you are a mother, and you producing bitter, backed up, broken children. I said it and I stand by it. Because at the end of the day, you have either been parented by someone who's been bitter, backed up, and broken, or you've had someone in authority to feed your self-concept of who you are that broke you, that made you bitter, and that made you backed up as well. And so that spills over into our love, sex, and money, and we start to think that we don't have options. And we have options. Yeah, Monique, fuck that. That's right. We have options. We have options. And the options begin with the woman knowing who she is, being willing to rebirth yourself as many times as it takes. Be willing to rebirth yourself as many times as it takes till you get to the version of you that you can stand in, that you can stand in the core, in the center of who you are. Rebirth her. Rebirth her again. You don't have to put on for anybody, honey. Girl, Lord have mercy. Like I said, I wasn't going to be long. I hope that there's enough nuggets in this for you to take it to the next level. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, you might want to start off in She Magic, the monthly coaching sessions. You can buy it by the bundle. For those of you who have been hanging around, lurking around, if you're in Good Girls Gone Goddess, you qualify to be interviewed and to process into the juicy Womanhood Rites of Passage, which is a 6-month process, my signature program that rebirths and transforms the lives of women on their own terms, not mine. And hey, the Juicy You is over, but I don't know. I may offer it again in fall. I don't know, but that'll be feeding your conversation of later. No, you got to develop some urgency right now, damn it. Right now. This is my right now moment. I'm doing this for me. Listen, you all don't know how many invitations I get to do other things. But when I start to be sold out for me and my rebirth and what my vision is, then I have had to decline to invest or intend in certain things at certain times. But when it came to something that was growing me forward, there always was a leap of faith. And so the leap for you may be the phone call. The leap for you may be just sending the inbox message. The leap for you may be just coming in and filling it out, you know, or coming and showing up here. I don't know what it is for you, but you know what it is. And I know that you know what it is. And stop telling yourself that you don't know what your next step is, or feeling like you got to have it all figured out before you take the next step. Your life is already giving you feedback. Mine gave me feedback this morning, and I like what I see, because I named it today, multiple streams of magic. Hallelujah, girl. Hallelujah. Anyhow, I love you all, and there is nothing you can do about it. I look forward to seeing you on the other side of doing this work together. Rebirth and emerge, transform, baby. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're gonna do it. It's already done.